re-injured his right ACL. He'll be out for the season. He's going to have surgery to repair that at some point. We're working on all that, but my heart is with him. I mean, just the amount of hard work that he put in to get back to this place, to get him to play. So he's heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. The whole group just feeling for him, and so we'll be here every step of the way with him, supporting him through this journey. He knows how to do this. He'll be able to attack it, and his focus is just going to shift in terms of what he's competing for. So just again, it's definitely hard on JB right now, and so.
So there you have it. That is head coach Dave Canales announcing to the media earlier today that running back Jonathan Brooks will be missing the remainder of the season due to tearing that ACL, the same injury that he had last year in Texas that caused him to miss some extended time with the Carolina Panthers. And by the way, I know you guys are spoiled by the high quality productions that we do here. I know my sound doesn't sound like it normally does, but I was in a rush to get here and flying back from Philly this morning. Didn't have a chance to get all that together, and I didn't want to delay the show because I know you guys are wanting to watch Monday Night Football, and so am I. But yeah, here's some images of Jonathan Brooks just yesterday in Philadelphia prior to that injury that he suffered. And I think I got one more picture that I want to share with you guys. I know I do. Let me see if I can quickly find it. But we're going to talk about this and whatever else that you all may want to talk about tonight, as this show is dedicated 100% towards whatever you guys want to talk about. So here's another image for you. Again, this photograph taken by our great photographer, Jonathan, our great photographer, Patrick Snyder, as he captured Jonathan actually being carted off the field yesterday and had his face down in his hands as, he's hurt and will be out for the season. So I just adjusted the sound so you guys should be able to hear me a little bit better. But man, gotta feel for the guys, right? And I know some people may have the question, but again, this show is going to be, I know the sound sounded bad, but I just adjusted it, so it still probably sounds a little echoey, but you should be able to hear me much better now than at the very beginning. Again, just got in from Philly, flight was delayed a couple of times, so literally just kind of slid into home base here to try to get going with the show. Didn't have a chance to set up all the normal mic stuff to make it sound like crystal clear radio TV produced, but we are here. Yeah, I got to pause for a second because I'm just like, woo, I'm just letting it all sink in about what happened. But Jonathan Brooks had that injury yesterday, the same knee that he had the injury in before. Again, will miss the rest of the season. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I can continue to talk about. Oh, Shakir, let me, I forgot about the fact that we are doing call-ins, so let me go ahead and do this. And actually, I think I might switch to this mic here so you guys can just hear me better during the show. So, whatever you guys want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. Shaked, give me just 1 second. And everybody watching, give me just 1 second. By the way, big thanks. I think I still have this image. Yes, I still have this image. Big thanks to everybody that has been supporting our fundraiser to get this equipment. This is old, so I think now we're up to $900 raised, right? Which means we have about $400 more to go. So I just switched microphones, so you guys should be able to hear me a lot better. So please let me know if you can. But if you guys are able to still contribute to that, I know it's the holidays, so I don't expect it, but there's a link to do so in the description to go over and do that. Or you can super chat or you can cash app. Whatever's easiest for you guys that are able to and willing to support us. Greatly appreciate it and look forward to it. So let me do this. I want some new people to call in. That is no shade at all to my regulars. I love my regulars. I want my regulars to keep calling, but I want some new callers. This is for everybody. A free show, live, credentialed member of the media, man of the people, here to you. So if you got a cell phone, computer, whatever, click on the link, come talk to me. But first up, we got my man Shaked. Can you hear me better now?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you better. I think uh, you people are probably shy. That is why they probably don't want to come on. But anyway, it's exciting about the team future. I'm even wearing Bryce #9 jersey because he played great. We have a franchise quarterback. We have a great coach in Dave Canales, which Shaked Nostradamus, Chris, week one, before the Saints game, remember what I told you. This team going to resemble the 2022 Lions team. And there's so much similarities. That team wasn't good, but they played tough. This team also played tough. Got to give credit to the defense. They played outstanding yesterday, but 3rd and 10, running quarterback, you have to put a spy on Jalen Hurts because that play he picked up 40 yards near the end of the 3rd quarter, and that resulted in an Eagles touchdown. And as far as Jonathan Brooks go, I feel terrible for him. And I know football is not, it's a business decision. With Jonathan Brooks suffering back to back ACL injury and the same knee non-contact injury, Panthers might have to look at running back in the draft because technically he's not going to play in the 2025 season. And at the moment, we only have Chuba. Miles Sanders will probably be cut. So that's a decision, but the future is bright. Next year, Charlotte White will be covering the Carolina Panthers playoff game, hopefully NFC South championship game, and maybe Super Bowl because realistically, the sky is the limit for this team off season 2025 and beyond.
You said that play. Thank you, thank you. Number one, let me say this. When I saw you tweet that the other day, and I was like, that would be great. Hopefully, we can continue to have the funds to travel because this is looking at being my first season ever. For all you loyal supporters or the new people, Charlotte Vibe has never been to every single game from preseason to the end. I don't know how many journalists honestly get to do that each year. I know definitely right now I'm the only company that has covered every single preseason, regular season game for the Carolina Panthers. So that would be great. But that play that you're talking about, Shaked, that you didn't like for Ivero, you said it was in the 3rd quarter toward the end?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not
3rd and
coming.
10. 3rd and 10. Jalen Hurts basically ran right through the middle, picked up nearly 40 yards, and 3 plays later, pardon me, the Eagles scored a touchdown through to the rookie tight end, Josie Jules, one of the bad play of the defense yesterday, basically allow him wide open in the middle. Easy touchdown.
Okay. I'll take a look, man, and comment on. Hey, appreciate you much, man. Good seeing you, and glad that I know we're not meeting the standard of what you want, but I think we're meeting the standard of what many fans may want in terms of seeing some progress and
Yeah, I
seeing some
mean,
hope in the
yeah, I
future.
was going to say, sorry to cut you off, Chris. I mean, you want them to win, of course, but last year we all suffered miserable because they lost bad. They didn't play tough. They embarrassed us. Right now, losing in a way, it's tough as for me to say it. It's fun because they're competitive and we can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel. Finally, Mike Kay, last year, he wrote 2 years rebuilding. It's going to take 2 years for this team to be good. Of course, we didn't have a Canales and all of that. But so anyway, we are definitely approaching winning time off season and beyond. And if you're not on the bandwagon, you should jump on the bandwagon before the train leaves the station.
Hey, thank you so much, man. Good to see you. Might see you
Sure.
again this week. Take care. Hey, so let me go ahead and comment. We got Thomas waiting in the queue. You guys, again, no shade, no hate towards my regulars. Thomas, I'm gonna talk to you in a second very happily. but some new people. It's free. I'm nice. I'm an easy guy to get along with. Come on in. Let me know how you're feeling about this Carolina Panthers team that is making some progress, but they're still losing. They're losing too many games. We want to win one, get over the hump. I heard we were favored against Dallas. Now, I hadn't read it all and did all my I's dotting and T's crossing, and Dallas has not even played tonight. That kind of technically may not matter, but wow, are we favored to beat Dallas? And how did that guy with the $3.1 million bet fare out? Let me see if I can Google that real quick. Thomas, I see it, buddy. Hold on, we're coming. I'm going to Google it. Let's see. So I see a report that the $3.1 million money line bet on the Eagles pays off, barely. So the guy in Kentucky won and I didn't understand this because I know point spreads are normal, like numbers like 3, 6, whatever, but it's like the $700 money line bet paid off, but only after the Panthers gave Philly all they could. But the Eagles escaped with a 22-16 win, and the bettor in Kentucky ended up making roughly $450,000. So, yeah, I didn't know what negative 700 equals in terms of the game and how it works, but the guy won. So let's give, or they don't know who it is. It's an anonymous person, but let's give that anonymous person congratulations for winning that bet yesterday. This team is again has some progress. So Shaq had a few things that he talked about. Jonathan Brooks not playing at all next year. Man, I did not even think about that. Again, I found out about it literally right before I got on the plane to fly back to Charlotte. Posted some impetus and said, man, well, dang, I was immediately thinking about this season. But you're right. Those injuries that happen like that, it took about a year before he was active and back on the field. And they said when you get more of them, then it increases. The time increases for the time that it takes for you to recover. So, I can't even imagine. But yeah, Dan Morgan and company, they got to think about this year. They got to think about the future. I don't know if they have to go to a running back again right away. They just signed Chuba Hubbard, so I feel like they could do shouts out to my man Rashad. He best player available kind of deal for that, and don't feel like they have to reach and get one this year because they still have Chuba. You obviously want a backup, and there's many ways to get that. Doesn't have to be the first round. But anyway, good stuff. Thomas, I've made you wait long enough. You ready? I can't hear you. I'm just messing with you, man. Thomas, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm just swell. Just swell. It's Monday. I mean, I'm not disappointed that Carolina lost. I mean, just like Shakade said, that last year it'd be bitter, disappointed, but to go toe to toe with potential three playoff teams all in a row, that's pretty good, all under one possession. So I mean that's good progress, and it does stink about Jonathan Brooks. I mean, coming back trying to prove himself in same knee, so hopefully it can improve and he'll be back hopefully late next year, if not the year after, and prove that what he is. But I I think we're in the stage like this. You know how there's that 12-step program or the grieving process or whatever. I think we're at that as Panthers fans, to where we went through the rule years miserably. Then we go through last year terribly. Now we're at that point to where we're losing games closely, and we're now going like last week. Chuba fumbled the ball, or Pinheiro didn't make kicks. Yesterday, a lot of people are upset about Leggett dropping
Hey,
that
Piero
good.
missed the kick yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think something's up. He's got to be still injured. I mean, to be going through that, but it's like if we're upset about all that stuff and Leggett, I get it. First of all, Leggett is a rookie still. He will bounce back. I've seen comparisons people have been doing on Twitter about him and Devin Funches, but it's too early. But we are in that process now to where we're like, oh, if it was that play right there, then we would have possibly won that game. So we're out of that. It's like, oh, we're losing by 2-3 touchdowns. So there is light out of the tunnel. We're getting there. It's nice to see that we're disappointed by a touchdown or loss against a team to where I saw yesterday morning. They were 14-point underdogs, Carolina was, before the game actually started. So that right there just shows on what people view them as still as a dumpster fire, take no respect. And I think if I was Panthers, just keep writing that. Just like, you know what, nobody respects us. And they're not going to be an easy out. I've said that before. So if they somehow beat Dallas, now people say, oh, it's because they didn't have Dak, this and that. But that doesn't matter. A win's a win. A win is a win. But I guess I'm not all for draft position. I'm not, because I want them to improve. But they're getting better, but still have a potential as a top 5 draft pick. So right there, you're golden. I mean, Bryce is better, team's better, outlook's better. So, and it's just great to see that now we have some hope.
Yeah, we do. We do.
I mean, I, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about this whole Evero thing. I really am, because he did a decent job yesterday, and he's doing what he can with I would say a subpar lineup. I mean, except for like Jewel and Horn and Jackson, I think that's his name, and Robinson. But it's interesting to see if he does come back and he has a fully healthy Derek Brown. If that line is getting pressure like they are now,
Yeah.
it could be a different story. I mean, I'm not a shoulda, coulda, woulda person, but we can only tell.
Yeah. All right. Hey, appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and tackle those. Good to see you, man. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You as well, Chris. Bye bye.
All right. All right. So those are my regulars, which again I appreciate. I'm about to respond to everything that Thomas said, and I got some homework from Shaked and what he said. You guys are invited to click on the link that's in the description at the very top to come on the show. Let me know what you want to talk about, how you feel, and ask a question, vent, whatever it may be. But some really good stuff that Thomas was there talking about. And he said he's not disappointed. I get that, not disappointed, but I'll tell you this. It sparked this thought here. I don't know if you guys at home watch it on television, if they showed the replay quickly so that you were able to see what happened with the Xavier Legette drop. But they're live. I saw it, and then there's this pause, and then he says, no catch. And I'm like it was quiet in the area of the press box that I was at, because we're like, I don't understand how that, like, can somebody explain to me? I mean, you couldn't see it at all that he had dropped it. And then we finally saw on the screens in the press box, which in Philly, lots of nice things, but man, their TV in the press box was really delayed. But I saw it and like, oh my goodness. So for me, Xavier Legette, I'm high on the guy. I like the guy quite a bit, but I absolutely feel like, he needs some tough love. I talked about it yesterday, so I won't go into it too long again today. You can just watch that video from yesterday. But it's like he needs to work on the details. He needs somebody to sit down and say, listen, young fella, my guy, whatever the cool word is to say, you got to go through the details of the whole process. And I had problems with Xavier in which the way he got hit early on in the game and kind of seemed like he was hurt, slow to get up, went to the tent. I have problems with it because he didn't protect himself on the hit. And then with the drop, it was like, are you kidding me? He dropped it as he was bringing it into his body. There was no contact of the ground and his body and all this to deal with, like, as he did. No, he dropped it before. So high on the guy. Yes, he was a rookie, but we need to go ahead and say tough love needs to be activated for Xavier to get these things together so that he can build some good habits. Pinheiro, yeah, he missed a kick yesterday. He talked about the injury. I don't know if it's the injury. I just feel like kickers go through things in bunches. Justin Tucker, most accurate kicker up until, I don't know what the current ranking is now between him and Pinheiro, but when Pinheiro first overtook him, I said, well, one thing to keep in mind is Justin's been doing it forever, like 4 times long as Eddie. So I still feel like more props should be given to Tucker in terms of that distinction of most accurate kicker. But he missed a lot. He's now missed a lot, and I think it's a thing that can get in their head. You can have a streak where they have these problems, but overall they're still the same guy. They'll come back to it, and they'll be a great kicker. And this just randomly came up as well when talking with Thomas about the Eagles and the underdog and the point spread. Man, that Eagle fan base is something else. I landed in Philadelphia. I got there early. Normally I fly to a game the day before, but I flew up on Friday. 8 o'clock flight. Land in Philly at 10 o'clock, and they say, go Birds. And I'm like, oh, aren't we a little early? Can we not wait until Sunday? I mean, I get it, we're in Philly. But today, on my delayed flight back from Philly, we land at 5 o'clock approximately here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And what do I hear over the speaker as we land? Go Birds. I'm like, are you serious? Like going and coming, we get this? There's not been one flight all year in which I've heard an announcement both ways for the team that we were playing against. Now, I think it's probably been 2 times where I've heard a go team when I was traveling. It might have been for the Panthers, it might have been for the opposing team, but that was just one way. And it was just maybe 2 times out of 10 flights I've taken. But anyway, let me finish on talking about things. Draft position is something that Thomas talked about. Thomas, I'm glad you mentioned that because the draft position thing, I think is very intriguing. It's like a hidden gem between all the complexities of what's happened this year, right? The Bryce Young benching, this guy getting hurt, that guy getting hurt, these things, that thing, right? Because some people were getting upset when we started, we said, hey, let's get draft position. And I'm like, no, I don't want draft position in lieu of a culture, in lieu of sustained success and losing. Because like you got to build a culture. You got a new coach. Why would he want to lose? How much harder would that be to build a culture if suddenly now you got to worry about can guys rebound mentally from this? So I wanted us to win and build a culture foremost because you also don't know what you're going to get in the draft. It's still a little bit of a gamble. You still do your best. You still do your homework, but it's still a little bit of a gamble. Now we're playing competitive football, a lot of competitive football. Guys are believing, and to me, we're building, and we just hadn't got over that hump. So we almost, from a draft perspective, have the perfect strange situation where we are building a culture. We are playing close games, but we just haven't made it over the hump. So we're losing, and now we got good draft position. So that could be like, wow, we built up Bryce's confidence. We built up these rookies. We had competitive games, and we got a top 5 draft pick. That would be like outstanding job. That'll be a little bit of this given to my guy, Dave Canales, for his abilities to coach this team and get some winning going there. So there we go. Got through all of my responses from Thomas. We're going to go through all the comments that I have been getting that I haven't been able to respond to. But of course, if you happen to dial in, you get to skip the line, and we can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about right away. So let me dive into these comments. Amp for Life, what's up? You got a member, so you know members get some special love. We need to reevaluate our strength and conditioning protocol with all these major injuries this year and last year. Yeah, Amp for Life. I know it was, I feel conflicted a little bit because I do feel you with that last year. It was like injury, 20 million injuries. But this year, I feel like the staff is really patient and lenient with guys and letting them determine when they're going to come back onto the field. So there's been many guys that are returning, and it's like, is he coming back yet? So let's talk about Jonathan Brooks specifically because he's the most recent significant injury. They, in my opinion, were very, very patient. They had initially hoped that Brooks would come back in training camp. And we didn't see him in training camp, and he starts the year off on, I forget which list, but let's just say injured reserve. He started out on a list where he couldn't participate. And it was like, okay, when are they going to designate him to return? And it took a while. I forget exactly what week it was, but it was whatever week that we were going to go out to Germany for the Giants game. So I could probably quickly figure that out by looking on the site. And the Giants was week 10. So that was a very long time. And so they activated him. And I actually thought that he would play, but they activated him and said, nope, we're going to take our time. We're going to make sure that he's still really, really good. So he didn't play the first week he was activated. Then he had a bye week. And then when he came back against the Chiefs, I'm thinking we should see him, not a lot, but we should see him probably more than we would see Miles Sanders in the game. Jonathan Stewart, wasn't a guest that was supposed to be on the show, but we lucked out he was walking by and he stopped and he talked to us for a second. He said, bring him back really, really slow. And sure enough, he barely played that Kansas City game. I forget how many snaps he had. It wasn't many at all. So I feel like in terms of the strength and conditioning coach, I'm willing to get off of that person a little bit and just say, man, it's a little bit of bad luck, a little bit of misfortune that's going on. But I feel like Dave Canales has been really, really, and vocally saying like, it's a give and take with the guys. We want them to come back and not be on the pitch count. We want guys to come back and just be able to be healthy and play. But it's really unfortunate for sure what has happened to Jonathan Brooks. Tyrone, earlier you talked about my sound being far away. I think that has been fixed. Chime in and let me know if it has not, and we'll go ahead and work to address it. This one hurts because it kind of forces you to draft another running back because this is back-to-back injuries. Yeah, and that respect, I just touched on earlier, I don't think we have to make sure, we don't have to reach, we don't have to make this the first-round pick, second-round pick, but certainly it's on the board now, right? And it's part of your best player available and your draft board, and we could very well be drafting another guy because it's tough. Back-to-back, young. You just from a business perspective for the Carolina Panthers, you have to cover your butt. And that's also why on the player side, when they do have an opportunity to get a contract in certain positions, it's like, yeah, get all that you can because for that player, it's a business too. And he needs to make sure that he maximizes what he's getting. What's going on, Ken88? I think you are a new member. I got to start adding to my show production to make sure that I give some special acknowledgement to those people that are new members to the site because you guys are very important and I appreciate you. You help us go. You help me right now get to every game and we're going to continue to do it. Thanks, Ken. Oh, we got somebody calling. We got somebody calling. What's going on, Chance?
Hey, what's going on, Chris?
I knew we could do it. I knew we could get a new person. Well, you're not. I think you've been on one time before.
Oh, I've been on a couple times. Hey, I just want to know, did you fear for your life in that stadium yesterday?
So here's the good thing. We had our intern with us, and that was his first time traveling, going to a game. And he said, "Are we going to be okay?" And I said, "Yeah. Here's our privilege. Number one, we're media. So we get to go through different passages, if you will, than everybody else. Number two, of course, we're not walking around with any kind of Carolina Panthers paraphernalia on. And then once we're on the field, we're all protected. So we're pretty safe in that regard because of our privileges of being in the media, if you will.
I was just curious about that. I was also curious about, too, at the end of the first half, they really should have looked at that and threw a flag when that guy punched our offensive lineman. I don't know who it was, if it was Jalen Carter or what. I really think they should have looked at that. That could have maybe, obviously the drop, but, and the Bryce Young interception. But, I think that could have cost, maybe opened up the defensive tackle. If Carter wasn't in there, Chuba could have ran a little bit more, or maybe they wouldn't get as much push on Bryce either. Do you know what I'm talking about on that punch right before half?
Yeah, well, that's good that you bring that up. There was not a personal flag on that play at all. They just let him go into the half.
Yeah, they just let it go in the half because I think it's like, well, it's halftime. We're just going to let it go. I think if it would have been like third quarter, I think there probably wasn't a flag or something like that. But I think it was on Carter. I don't know if I remember. I watched it on NFL Plus because I work on Sundays. But yeah, I think it was on Carter. It's like that really could have opened up the offense a little bit more, and also the running back too with Chuba. He was already running really good, but Carter's a pretty beast in the middle there. We would have got him out of the game. If he threw a punch, something should have been done there. But I'm still pretty happy being a Panther fan here in Minnesota, even though the Vikings are playing really good. I'm hearing about it all day. But, at least I still wear my Panther blue on Sundays where I work and everything else. So it's nice to actually feel like we actually have a pretty decent young team right now. Even if we're not winning, I mean, we're right there. I mean, Kansas City, we should have beat Tampa, other than the fumble for Chuba. And I mean, and my wife's a huge Chiefs fan, so she was kind of sweating bullets on that. But that's pretty funny, honestly, because I thought we were going to get just like yesterday. I thought for sure we didn't have a shot, and we ran with the Eagles. I mean, we literally ran with the Eagles. First half looked really good. Second half, I mean, and Bryce, I wasn't a fan of Bryce, but he is really coming on. He's really coming on. He's really starting to believe his off. You can see he actually trusts that offensive lineman now. He'll actually stay in that pocket. Before he was so skittish. He wanted to get out of there because he knew he didn't have any protection. Now he knows he actually has protection, and I'm pretty. I know we don't have much of a record right now, but I'm a pretty happy Panther fan because we took some tough teams to the ropes.
You're right. You're right. Did you have anything else?
No, that's about all I got, Chris. Just want to touch base with you, man. I haven't talked to you for a while, so.
Hey, please feel free to come on again. I enjoyed talking and meeting everyone. So I'm going to comment on everything you said. So, but again, thanks so much for tuning in. And by the way, you have Adam Thielen from Minnesota that's here to continue to have that.
I hear that all the time. And I tell you what, if we didn't have him last year, I don't know where he'd be. But, man, that guy can play. I'm so glad he's still a Panther. He's just I hope, yeah. I just don't want him traded, man, because, like, that's all I hear is, like, you know, me being from Minnesota, like, you guys stole Adam Thielen away. I'm like, we didn't steal him away. He just didn't want to pay him, and I'm so glad they didn't. Can you imagine last year without Thielen?
This year,
I mean, seriously.
how many years is left on his contract by any chance? Does he have one more year?
I think it's like 2 or 3. I think it's 2 or 3. That's why I think the Panthers didn't try to trade him this offseason because, you know, we still have. I'm so glad they didn't either. So, but I gotta go, sir.
All right, I'm going to comment on you. Thanks. Good seeing you.
Yep. Bye.
All right, so let me quickly look up Adam Thielen's contract. And I'm going to comment on everything from Chance calling in. And we just got a few more minutes. We're going to the top of the hour. So he signed no, that's with the. So he signed a 3-year contract. So we definitely have him on contract beyond this year. So, yeah, Adam Thielen is such a crucial part, and for many reasons. Number one, his attitude when he's on the field. If you want to talk about a dog, that guy flips a switch. Off the field, he is just like pretty cool. Like, hey, I could hang out with Adam, and he'll talk to you, explain things, yada yada. But it seems like if you were to be on the field and you're on the opposite side, like you'd be like, who is this guy? He's almost like now Luke Kuechly is a whole different level of how high he's able to go. But just in terms of a player that has one demeanor off the field and a different demeanor on the field, Adam Thielen has a very strong difference. But also with Adam, I'm thankful that he's here because we just talked about Xavier Legette quite a bit. Everybody's talking about it. And Adam's saying, like, basically he's told him, hey, I've dropped that. And you need that guy that's going to be not only a guy that can come to you and be like, hey, man, it's all good, but a guy that you're going to respect and listen to, because not only is he a veteran, he's doing great things on the field, and he's an undrafted free agent. So you know this guy knows how to overcome adversity and can probably help you out with what you're doing. So I'm really glad that we have Adam Thielen, and let's keep it rolling. But he talked about no personal flag. I'm going to ask Coach about that. I'm not in the locker room every single day, but I think I will have an opportunity to talk with him on Wednesday. So I'm going to go back and ask about that play and report back to you guys. So please, that's why I'm man of the people, because when you guys give me things that I don't have the answer to, I'll go and I can't say that I'm going to get an answer, but I will seek that answer and tell you what it is that I find about it. He said one more thing, and I wrote happy fans, and I'm not sure why I wrote that note, so I'm sorry. But glad to have him call in. Glad that you guys are still here. Let's go ahead and Mr. Lee. We got another member that's joining us. Shouts out to the members. Man, that Brooks news was depressing. He needs to get with Thomas Davis as soon as possible. He knows a thing or two about ACL injuries. You know, I actually have it on my to-do list to reach out to Thomas Davis. That doesn't mean that, did not mean to hit that button again. Has absolutely zero meaning that I will be able to get in touch, but I'm going to try because I think he would be a good person to just talk to about this injury and what he may say. But I'm with you, Mr. Lee. That is definitely hard news to hear. What's going on, Leonard Kowalski? Yeah, Thomas did actually do it 3 times. Just incredible. Appreciate this comment. Chris, being at all the games is what makes you the best coverage of the Panthers, hands down. Let me touch on this real quick. I don't have to say really quick, but I want to touch. I do want to give sincere thanks to everybody that watches and supports the channel. Whether you're a member, whether you've done a super chat, it doesn't matter. If you watch the channel and have liked it or subscribed, I really, really appreciate it. Been getting comments lately about, hey, why aren't more people watching this guy? This is great what he does. So I appreciate it. It means a lot because at times it is really, really hard doing what we do in the capacity of just, I don't have all the resources that you may see other news companies have in order to do the coverage that I'm attempting to do. Doesn't, I'm not looking for you to, anything other than just sharing that with you to say, I appreciate it when you guys give me some positive reinforcement because I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not happy to do it, and hopefully we'll continue to grow and we can do more. You can say, hey, I knew that guy when he was just a one-man shop out there trying to cover the team, and I was a part of the members that helped him grow to where he can now do even more things. So thank you, thank you, thank you. For those that say, hey, I want this guy to be seen more, just do this. My biggest supporters that want me to be seen, make sure you watch every video, hit the like button, and leave a comment. If you all that are my biggest fans do that, that'll help other people find out about the channel and it'll continue to grow and I'll be able to do more. So thank you very much, Ant for Life. The Bryce is right. Yeah. Going through some of these comments here. Please tell us you kept your Eagles intern in Philadelphia. He is not an Eagles intern. He is a Charlotte Vibe intern that likes the Eagles. I know you guys are giving him a hard time. That's all right. You can't be in the media without thick skin. He supports the Panthers. JT as well. What were you saying about Jatavian Sanders? I want to make sure. I said host the draft party at Patrick's house. Did I miss something? Leonard, I want to understand this comment here. So please, I'm gonna leave it up there for a second. Pat, I said host the draft party. But about Jatavian Sanders, now I haven't watched the film yet from yesterday over to give you a lot of analysis about some things. That's why when Chance mentioned the penalty before the half and Shaked mentioned the third quarter play toward the end, 3 and 10, I got to go back and watch some things so I can be fluent with all of it. But my criticism for Jatavian Sanders yesterday was him backpedaling on a play that he clearly could have just turned around and even sideways and went and ran for it. But you could see the moment that ball was launched by Bryce that it was going to be down the field and he had to go get it. So, these guys can make mistakes. I'm more lenient on Jatavian Sanders' play yesterday because that's really the first time, I won't say ever, but in recent that he did something in that game. It wasn't big. But Xavier had multiple things yesterday in that game where it's like, come on now. I know you're a rookie, but we're also 3/4 of the way through a 17-week season. So at this point, in college years, you're a second-year player at this point. But it happened. We'll see what happens. My man Ali Badrick, what's going on? Welcome back, Chris. Glad to see that the team is competitive. They just need to get better at not letting opportunities become missed. Yeah, and I feel like Dave Canales is becoming more stern about that, and the way, in his own way with words. But certainly when he talks, these guys listen. And he said that the mentality now needs to change with these guys. The mentality needs to change, and the expectation needs to be there. They're like, hey, we are going to be in every game. So it's like, let's not let that be a news flash. And this is me pretending to be Dave talking to the players. There's no news flash. We're going to be in games. We were in games for Kansas City, Tampa, Philly. We're going to be in games. We have been in games, and we're going to continue to be in games. Let's not. Now the focus needs to be like on the details of finishing these games. Guys expect to be in the game, and now you need to execute everything that we teach you to do. You don't have to do anything beyond what we normally ask you to do. Just continue to do what we ask you to do, and do it for 4 quarters. Do it for every play, and we win. If you guys feel like I'm Dave Canales, then that is me, because I hear it all the time. I talk to him all. I don't talk to him all the time. I don't want to say that, but I have encounters with it, and that is what I strongly feel that his message will be to the team, and we'll see it. We'll see some things change. We'll see some good results, and meanwhile, for those who want us to tank, we're getting a little bit of progress there. You guys said that we got 2 years left on Adam Thielen's contract. He is a must-save. So, yeah, we'll see. What's up, Roddy Covington? Appreciate you tuning into the show and checking us out. Chris, you should get Coach Canales one-on-one interview. So I did get Coach Canales one-on-one interview. That was at the draft at the Combine in Indianapolis. It's kind of hard, honestly, because of being an independent media and getting him just because of he has to do so many other appearances. So I kind of end up being on, not at the top of the list, but it's not to say that I will not try. It's not to say that I will not surprise you and say, hey, live from someplace, I was able to catch Dave because of where we are and get an interview with him. I can promise you that is on my list, and I will do what I have to do in order to get that. So thank you very much. Yeah, let's subscribe to the channel, guys. We're almost at 11,000, but I tell you, honestly, the next goal is 15,000 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and I would appreciate it. So Leonard was talking about Patrick, the Panther super fan. That would be, I might can work that out. I might can work that out. Host a draft party. Hey, and man of the people does things differently, right? Danny Trehu saying Mike Boone gets a chance to show off his stuff for now. Hate that for Brooks. So guys, unfortunately, I have to go ahead and end right there. It's supposed to end at the top of the hour, which is 8 o'clock, but my laptop is also dying because I could not charge it on the plane. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, for my people that want to see me be bigger, grow, hit the like button every time you see a video. And also leave a comment. Those 2 actions, believe it or not, we all ask for it on YouTube because it helps with the algorithm. And if you really, really want to help, just make sure you watch every video to the end. So those are my 3 tips for those who really, man, I want Chris to grow. I like what he's doing. More people should see it. Every video, hit the like button. Every video, leave a comment. And then just watch the video to the end. Watch it while you're cleaning or driving or something, because the watch time also helps the video be seen by other Panther fans. All right, that's all for today. We'll report tomorrow as news happens, but otherwise you can certainly for sure expect to see me back on Wednesday. It's Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.